Aloha, and como mind on my YouTube channel. I'm Shelby Collinge of ShelbyCollinge.com, and welcome to a new video live from my lanai on Oahu, Hawaii. And hopefully you're fabulous. Those are in fact two ponds. They're filled with rainbow guppies, which I've had now the 2 years that I've been here on island, and this is the third. Some of these guppies have been to 3 homes with me. uh, and yes, it's it was always interesting. So they were in a different type of setup at the last house. This is where they are now, and there's everything's reversed. There's a Buddha right there. He sits here. And then this tree, which is just now becoming happy again. You'll see it in future videos be a little more lush. But it wasn't happy with the move. And which, happens with a lot of us with change. This is my dog, Chloe. He's recording a video right now. And then those are my church bells. If you can hear them, I'm sure you can, ringing in the background. But this plant behind me is a champaka. So if you've ever heard of Nag Champa incense, right? And I know you have. Nag Champa is like everybody in the world has smelled it, burned it, had it. That's the tree that produces the buds, and it's just getting ready to bloom. And it's also the flower in the most expensive perfume, which is the Joy. I believe it's called Joy perfume. It's the most expensive perfume in the world, and they get the blossoms from this here tree. So it does smell amazing, and you can smell it from, far, far away when it's blooming, especially with the winds that we have here. So today's topic is one that's near and dear to my heart personally, because it's one that every single person deals with, and that's, accepting the fact that where you are right now is absolutely perfect. And not only is it perfect, but you've kind of selected it and you brought this into creation to learn from it. And I am one of those people, right? I mean, I cannot tell you how many years, right? I got a couple emails from some clients just this last week. They're actually through Facebook, email-ish, right? I guess it's Messenger. And they were like, oh my God, I found this from 2003 and I found this from 2007. And it's like, yeah, been at this a long, long time. And there's not a person that I don't meet at some form or another who says something like, this should not be happening to me. I am too good for this. I know too much. I've been doing this too long. I've been at it. Blah, 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 blah. Like there's these incessant stories that people have about how where they are is not where they should be. And I know you've heard the saying, what you resist persists, but it's even more than, you have to think of it like a fire. And when you say no to this situation, no to the relationship issues, no to the financial problems, no to the, weight that you can't seem to release. When you keep saying no to it, it's like fueling the fire. So not only does it not go away, but it keeps getting bigger. So there has to become a point where you throw in the proverbial white towel. And to do that, you have to really accept. It comes to a place of acceptance that where you are is kind of by a divine design, and that there's something in it to learn from it, right? Like, what if you were just to think back for a minute and you were the universe and you're you, what would you think that the universe might be trying to tell you based on what's been happening? Like, what could you surmise the universe might be asking you, or asking you to clarify, or asking if you're sure about, or what might it be? And I always find that clients, they generally have an inkling, like, well, it might be that I'm worthy of more than this in this relationship, or I really can be successful and I do believe in myself, and that I need to trust my own instincts, and that I think I could trust my body to know what it really wants to eat rather than beating myself up for not following this very strict regimented, diet or some sort of protocol that worked for someone else. See, this is the trap, okay? Is that we think because something worked for someone else that it's going to work for us. But see, nobody's walked in your shoes and nobody's had the experiences that you've had and nobody has the desires that you have just like you do. And so even if something really, really works for somebody and they really, really want it to work for you and you really, really want it to work for you, it still may not work because you're not the same person. So you kind of got to find your own rhythm, right? And I know for myself, um, I've learned this over the years many times, especially being like in the internet space, right? Where you don't have a brick and mortar store. And so essentially you've got to kind of market and or network and or socialize and or all of the above to kind of get people to know about you, because you don't have a storefront where, Sally and Jesse can come walking in and be like, hey, I want to check out what services you have, right? You just don't have that. So, you know, this can be an all-encompassing thing where somebody teaches, does something in their own business, right, with their type of client and with their mindset too, by the way, and beliefs and expectations and self-concept and love of oneself, etc., right? And they have some really great success, and then you come along and you don't have that same concept of yourself, and maybe you don't expect the same thing, and maybe you haven't been doing it as long, and so you don't feel as sturdy in your knowing as they did, and so you do the exact same thing step for step and do not get the results. And of course, it's garbage to start with because it's like trying to make a recipe with not any of the same ingredients. But it's like, well, it's calling for a cucumber and I have a zucchini, so I'm just going to do that. You know what I'm saying? At some point, it doesn't turn out to be anything of what you want. So, this is a trap that I myself, I don't do fall into it as much anymore. Um, Although it's easy on the social media platforms if you watch them a lot, right? And you're easily susceptible to kind of wanting to follow the herd. See, I know what you step in when you follow the herd, and it's not good. So I've not ever in my life been one of these, oh, okay, Joey's doing it, so I should do it too. I'm kind of like, okay, if Joey's going left, then I'm going to go right. That's been more my motto in life. But when we're all kind of in that marketing space and online space, and it's really easy to let that bleed into your own knowingness and be like, okay, I'm gonna go off what I know is true for me and start doing this because this produced results for them, even though it really doesn't feel authentic, or this is not anything that I would normally do or would ever conceive of doing, but because it's working for Joe Blow, I'm gonna try it. And in some weird way, convince myself that Joe Blow's way would be better for me than my own way would if I flung my own freak flag. You know what I mean? And so the message really is you got to fly your own freak flag. But first of all, you've got to really accept where you are, that it's not only where you need to be, but you, because we're 100% in control of our own thoughts about things, right? So this is happening, and you could say, oh, okay, I'm powerless and I had nothing to do with this and it's somebody else's fault and therefore I can never change it. Or you could believe more along the lines of, oh my God, I had everything to do with this. And so being as though I know that if I change me and my concept of my own self, then this outward world will change. And that's really the far easier, better way to do it than to say, you know what, I'm going to go out here and try and fix out there. So really think about, and I know there is, right? No matter who you are, no matter what age you are, there are still things that you keep repeating the same patterns in your life. whether that be, it's the same person you keep dating, but they have a different face and they have a different name but it's essentially the same type of scenario. Maybe it's with your health. No matter what you do, you still keep having the same trials. You still have the same setbacks. You're still not feeling 100% whole. Maybe it's with finances. There's always more month left at the end of the money, no matter what you do, no matter how many years you've lived. There's always some sort of shortage of cash or funds or being able to get what you want, etc. Really think about what the pattern is that you still haven't mastered yet, right? Like you would say, okay, this is still something that I can honestly say I have an issue with. And then ask yourself, what might you be being asked to do, right? It's a negative belief and it's a negative expectation. I'm here to tell you 100-fold. So if it's the money thing, then it's like you just don't believe you're worthy. If you're in business, you don't believe, people want what you have, or there's enough to go around, or that you know enough. But you've got to address that, because no matter what, wherever you go, there you are. And life will never, ever meet you anywhere differently than where you are. So it doesn't matter how many courses you take, or retreats you go to, or yogis you visit, or people who give you a blessing, or how many incense you burn. If you don't believe it, okay, if you truly don't believe it, then it's not going to matter, okay? And what is a belief? It's a thought you think over and over and over again. So you have to keep thinking the thought of what you want. So, I have a very healthy body, or, I have tons of support and family and friends, or, I have a booming business, or like you've got to have a thought that you just keep repeating to yourself again and again and again and again and again, and quite honestly, until you believe it. Because the thought that you can't make it, you'll never succeed, the money's always not going to be a problem, it's always going to run out. You say those thoughts to yourself hundreds, if not thousands of times a day. So you cannot just say, oh, okay, money's coming to me and I'm successful now one time, and expect that to counteract the 10,000 times you counteract that during the day, okay? But really ask yourself, what is it you must believe? And then depending upon the severity of the circumstance, right? Some people are like, oh my God, I don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. Like, not $1 left. I'm like, high five. Because now maybe you'll do something different. You'll believe differently. You'll address things and look at things differently. And if you won't, then you're going to keep experiencing it, right? I mean, because the common denominator in all your problems, quite frankly, is you. You're always there. So we do have to take that into account, right? And like I said, I myself am sometimes blown away by, after all the years, right? Not to mention all the years of schooling in psychology and mind and quantum physics, that I still fight for my limitations on some things, right? And just in the past couple of days, I broke through on something that I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe how long I've been thinking the antithesis of that, right? My own self. And that's the one thing you have 1,000% control over, is what you're thinking, right? What you're imagining, what you're picturing, what you're expecting. Like, that's 100% on you. Nobody could do it for you, even if they wanted to. And yet we don't think for our own selves. We think against. And that's the issue, right? Truly. So I bring this up because today's the day that, it all changes and you can begin to think something totally different. And it does begin with taking 100% responsibility that you got yourself here and that you manifested this situation so that you can get out of it and end this cycle. This is kind of like the talk we do every single week in my satsings, if you want to know the truth. Like, every single week, it's another topic to kind of get you to kind of chip away at those old patterns. So you're like, oh my gosh, if this really resonates, like I need more of this, and be able to ask questions and get answers in real time. Then check out my satsings at shelbycollinge.com. They're right there on the homepage, and the membership price is going up, by the way, next month. So, and more things are being added. So if you get in now, then you get grandfathered in at that price. Oh, and there is a $4 1-week trial. Oh, yeah, it's It's like my little 6-night, 7-day Oahu trial. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I want to try this, then head on over. Like I said, shelbycollinge.com, click on the sat sayings, the weekly sat sayings, and then take that $4 1-week test drive and join us on Wednesday. So I just really, really, really wanted to kind of put out that PSA, that public service announcement that, you know, the thing that you're really sick and tired of dealing with is really sick and tired of being here too. And so really the only one who's got to get over it is you. And so you've got to ask yourself, what could it possibly be trying to teach you, and get it, right? And if you think nothing comes to mind, sorry, nothing more Hawaiian than wearing 2 flowers in one ear, right? The plumeria in the winter get less and less on the trees. And so the one right by my place, well, the one of many, it's small. So I thought, you know, I need 2. And I kid you not, they just stay in my ear. It's like my ears were made for plumerias, truly. All right, well, anyway, you look amazing. Ask yourself if you get an answer right away about what your repeating pattern could possibly be trying to teach you. Yay! If you don't, sleep on it. You'll get an answer in the morning. Ask your subconscious, like, okay, inner Shelby, what might this lesson be trying to teach me that I keep repeating in my life? I'm open to figuring it out, or taking a gander at it, and watch what you get. You'll be like, oh my God, enlightened one. And then be sure to post it down below, right? Like, oh my gosh, I totally realized that I needed to blank, right? Believe in myself, trust life, right? Believe that even though it hasn't always been easy, come hell or high water, I have figured out how to do things. And so I've always survived. And so this is not going to be any different, right? Whatever. It's a trust thing for sure, right? It's probably trusting yourself. It's more than likely trusting yourself. But it does pay to self-inquire and see what comes up. And if you ever need any help at all, be sure to check out my website, shelbycollinge.com. And if you need a blessing or a healing sent your way, or to somebody you know, be sure to visit shelbycollinge.com. Right there on the homepage, you can submit that request absolutely free of charge. And I always send a personalized email when I've sent the blessing or the healing. So be sure to check that out as well too. Like I said, you look fantastic. Keep doing what you're doing. And I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to check out this tree in one of the next videos, because like I said, it's just now starting to really come around from being moved. It loves its new place, but you know, moving was not genteel for some of the plants. They were not all loving about it, right? New patterns, new environments, new everything. So that's how people can be too sometimes, right? But change is good. And now, like I said, if you can see the upper half, it looks way amazing, but it kind of does from the top down for some reason. This tree always has. So you'll start to see the amazingness in other videos. And it's probably looking like this no matter where you are, because fall and or winter. Oh my gosh, for the East Coast peeps, sorry about that. It is about 82 right now. And gorgeous. So here on Oahu. Come visit in April. I'm having an event, my Atonement, Alignment, and Allowing event. I would love to have you here. Oh, and by the way, if you happen to be watching this on today, the 6 pay ends today for that event. The $192 6 pay ends today. Wow, that rhymes. Look at me go. All right, we'll see you on the next video. I love you immensely. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe to this channel if you haven't. Like I said, like this video because it helps a gal out, and we'll see you on the next video. Ahui ho, aloha.